What's poppin', people? It's Dante here along the Schuylkill River Trail in Philadelphia, and I'm just enjoying the morning with this beautiful sunlight. Hey look, I found a water bottle. And yeah, just a really nice day, looking out towards the river, the hidden river, the Schuylkill. Yeah, it's always good to start the day off with a nature walk. And actually, as I'm doing this parkour on this log here, I'm reminded of yesterday when I was walking down Market Street. My my favorite person on the street, Marlo, was doing parkour along the curbs on the street as he was walking with this cool bamboo stick, kind of like the local ninja here. And I was like, yo, what's up, man? We started chatting, and he has this insane sharp eye where he noticed this guy with a knife in his hand, and he was like, all right, look at his right pocket, knife in the hand, you know, move on, I'm not gonna be on the news today. Dispersed, left the scene. He showed me some like cool parkour moves, and then we just like dipped. You know, when you're in the streets, you got to be super aware and clairvoyant and predict things that are happening. It's like he watched as the guy came across the street and noticed the knife in the pocket with this sharp visual acuity. Honestly, these key traits are, I believe, what photographers must possess. However, I'm reminded when it comes to practicing photography, it doesn't come down to just what you see, but rather the movement of your physical body. You know, when I consider composition and intuition, yeah, I'm believing actually that it's more so about your body and the way that you position your body. So like considering this inanimate sculpture here, the more that I move my body with my 2 feet and photograph on repeat from different angles, I'm able to eliminate certain things, whether it's the horizon with the traffic in the background. I can eliminate the pole, I can eliminate the trees, I can just hone in on certain gestures. When you photograph, you have to move your physical body, and I'm just reminded that life is motion, life is movement, and maybe to consider the body firstly, and your eyes sort of follow the connection between your eyes and your mind, the way that you perceive your world, the world. Yeah, maybe when you photograph and you're moving through life, it's inevitable that you will find with your eyes something interesting. There's always a surprise, but you have to get out there and move firstly. And that's what I'm reminded of each and every day when I wake up with my eyes wide open, just eager to explore, eager to go outside and move my body. But you must first move. And I think that's just a critical thing, really. The movement of your body is what determines the results of your photographs. You know, if you're still, if you're stagnant, if you're not moving, what will you see? You know, you have to move firstly. But yeah, maybe the ultimate privilege is to be outside. When I consider the medieval world, and some of the paintings, so I recently visited the Philadelphia Museum of Art for their antique show. They had an antique show. It was really beautiful. Lots of cool stuff. I like looking at the old objects, like lots of the plates with the intricate details and sculptures, and they even had an auction. And it's crazy to see the price of some of these antiques, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. One of the key things I liked was the Renaissance prints. There was this section that showcased the Farnese Hercules, and I really enjoyed looking at that. I feel like Hercules, the body, this is like the ideal male proportion when you look at the grandeur and strength and proportions of the Farnese Hercules. It's really cool to see in person, the little print. Yeah, a lot of the Renaissance works I'm a fan of. I really enjoy Caravaggio. I have his complete works. I bought from Barnes & Noble, really big book. You can go through some of those paintings. I find that the use of the chiaroscuro, the high contrast, the lighting, there's something about the light and the shadow and the way that he created these dramatic scenes, you know, whether it's the scenes themselves or the lighting and the aesthetics. I find that there's something there to draw inspiration upon when it comes to my photography, actually. And so, yeah, the Renaissance produced lots of interesting works, Caravaggio being certainly my favorite. But alas, the medieval section, that's always there. They have like the knights, you know, like the armor and like the weaponry and like kind of stuff like that on the third floor, I believe. Second or third floor. Yeah, so that's there all year. And so we walked through there and I was looking at the paintings and I was like, why are they so pale? Like, I asked my buddy and he said that the royals and the people that lived in the palaces, they would often even powder their skin with makeup so that they even looked more pale and more white to showcase their sort of royalty or status or class within society, because they were not allowed, or they were not out toiling like in the dirt or working in the fields, sort of like a peasant. And the more that I think about this, I'm like, this is going into reverse now, where to have tan skin, to be under the sun and to be outside is the privilege, and to be locked away in the castle, yeah, maybe that's where souls go to die. That's where your body declines. Thinking of the paintings from Caravaggio, looking at Saint Jerome, looking at the different paintings of these monks that are hunched over with their bodies sort of decaying, their bodies sort of weak and anemic. And the denial of the body, I believe, is a product of Christianity's hope for a new world, hope for an afterlife. But maybe a more interesting thought is to simply assume that you will not respond. Sort of like in the video games, right? You play Call of Duty. If you're playing team deathmatch, regular mode, you get killed, you get back up, you respawn again. Yeah, we're playing Search and Destroy. You don't respond, right? In Search and Destroy, you know, you have to carry the bomb, plant the bomb, blow up the base. But if you fail the mission and you die and you're shot, well, you can no longer play the game. Maybe we should assume that we're playing Search and Destroy in hardcore mode and go forward with this mindset, so that we recognize the power of our bodies. We recognize the world that is around us for its ultimate beauty, and champion the human experience to uplift it to new heights, and maybe embracing the physical in a world that is becoming more digital, considering work from home, work from the office, work from the computer as like the new, almost like the kings, right? Like the kings and like the royals that were in these palaces with their powdered white skin, with the makeup on, you know, sort of perfectly orderly, you know, no danger, just protected by the castle walls. You know, maybe the more interesting approach to life is to be on the front lines of life. This is a notion that I really consider when it comes to photography generally, where, you know, the photographer is responsible for positioning themselves on the front lines of life, in the chaos, articulating the unknown and putting order to it. And I thrive as an artist in a city because the city has this perfect balance between order and harmony. There's just enough chaos that keeps me inspired. There's just enough creativity that can flow through me by observing reality, by observing everyday mundane life of the hustle and bustle. Whether it is good, whether it is bad, whether it is beautiful, whether it is ugly, I really do not care, for I thrive within urban life. And yeah, I think that, yeah, that is where the photographer must be, close to life itself, on the front lines. And so maybe, you know, if it was the medieval times, you know, I'd be the defender of the wall. I'd be out there in the dangerous parts of the castle territory, sort of on the outskirts, like I am here along in Philadelphia, on the outskirts of the city. You know, I always thrive along the borders, along the outskirts, and honestly in danger. You know, all of the places I've traveled to over the years had some element of danger to it. I mean, even just picking up the camera and going outside, no matter where you may be, it's a bit dangerous, right? You never know what you will find out there in the unknown, and maybe it takes the ultimate courage to practice street photography in this way, where you become so close to life, you know, where the street becomes this arena. And so I was thinking of notions of following your passion. Maybe follow your joy is a better one, right? Follow what makes you happy, follow your joy, follow that joyous feeling. Following the joy or following your fear maybe is even better, right? Following what makes you fearful, what you are afraid of. Look at this groundhog. Hey, groundhog. You have a hole back here, I'm sure. Eating all the plants, are you? Yeah, the groundhogs and I, we have a long history. When I was a little boy, I would run around the backyard with a BB gun trying to kill this damn thing. But here it is, just me and the groundhog. Actually, I think that the I remember the Farnese Hercules little drawing, and my friend told me about it. I didn't realize he's holding a lion skin, so I believe Hercules had to endure these different labors. I think he killed his children or something, and then he had to undergo all these different tasks, and one of them was slaying a lion. And apparently his arrows would not penetrate the lion or defeat the lion, so he had to wrestle the lion and then use the lion's claws to claw the skin of the lion off of the body, and then wore the skin of the lion as armor. I'm also reminded of the relationship between his descent to Hades, defeating and taming the three-headed dogs, and Harry Potter's sort of journey in the Chamber of Secrets. You know, he had to also tame these three-headed dogs and put them to sleep through. I mean, I remember when they opened up the door and it was like they just started getting barked at, and it was extremely scary, and they found the trap door, and then you go down the trap door and there's a basilisk, and to fight against the basilisk, Harry had no weapon. But through the courage that he exuded, the Phoenix delivered a sword, the sword of Gryffindor, to Harry to then slay this basilisk through the simple act of courage, where courage is one of the key traits of the Gryffindor house, and the sword is summoned to those that exude the most courage. So maybe courage, maybe embracing fear is a good way forward, and some beautiful things through overcoming the challenges, through overcoming the fear, will be delivered to you almost like you're just floating through the chaos with ease and clarity, you know. And maybe that's just a good place to be, to follow your courage, or courage, core meaning heart, courage essentially being heart. Thinking of the Purple Heart that Washington, I believe, started in the military, one of the first badges of honors. Today I'm wearing all purple from Lululemon, the license to train shorts, the 5-inch shorts I love. And this is the Dry Sense medium shorts, medium shirt. I fit well in the mediums t-shirt. The Dry Sense is cool. It's a little bit longer on the sides and it's got a different shape, but yeah, even the license to train ones are nice. I like the matching purple color. Yeah, maybe in a world that's so divided between red and between blue, black, white, whatever, we should seek a middle ground. Purple being in between the hues blue and red. Yeah, maybe purple is a good color in today's sort of climate, if you will, right? Where we are becoming more divided. And because of that, yeah, I say wear purple, have a purple heart, and yeah, maybe we should be brave, be courageous, similar to George Washington for that matter, right? I love looking at the sculptures of Washington that's over here on the Parkway. And yeah, Just headed out towards the back of the museum. Check out the view. Start the day up on top of the world. It's always a good place to be. And yeah, maybe one thing I'm trying to do more when I'm walking is like I'm flexing my abs and my core section while walking, and it actually improves your posture dramatically when you actually tense your muscles up and focus on each step. You become hardened, and maybe we don't think about the way that we walk enough in this modern world, where we kind of just go from point A to point B using these cars. You know, my thought about division, maybe these cars, you know, introduced after the Industrial Revolution merely separated us more than ever, where you're separated by the tinted windows, you're separated from cities to suburbs, you're separated by your neighbors, and there's much more of this sort of like private way of transporting yourself behind these tinted cars, these all black sort of tinted cars where I can't really see the face of the person within. And yeah, maybe cars merely divide people. I mean, it's kind of like another funny way to think about it, but yeah, maybe it's rather superficial. But the more I think about the cities and transportation and the way people drive into the city to then work here, maybe there's something about ownership, land, the lack of connection between land. You know, where I see in a functioning society, in my time in Zambia when I was a Peace Corps volunteer, there is God, tribe, and land, and maybe the land was shared equally amongst people within a tribe because of the common ownership. But in cities, there's more renters, there's more people sort of borrowing land, and not necessarily this like ownership of the land. You kind of own like a shoebox within the land, and because of that separation and that disconnect or that division between land and people, people and city, people and land, maybe that's where you find all of these sort of crimes, problems, trash, human feces on the streets, glass bottles shattered everywhere. You know, people don't take care of the land. They kind of just drink their little their McDonald's coffee, like this McDonald's coffee, and they just throw it in the grass, and then someone has to go and pick it up, because human beings in cities, in modernity, we frankly cannot govern ourselves, and because of this, become natural slaves to the state. What's funny is we're seeing a lot of these like communist posters everywhere on the poles. We're seeing lots of them actually even like role-playing with their funny hats and stuff, walking around the city, and protesters or whatever. And it's like, I think what's going on is we're just asking for more control, and we lack that self-autonomy generally, and are becoming weak, anemic, and yeah, maybe focusing on the physical, focusing on increasing strength and power, and raw power being your body, not money. You know, where the material world we should champion, however, real power being physical. And so visiting this elevated surface each and every day, it's a beautiful place. I get to look out towards the boats, I get to look out towards the horizon. Fairmount Park, essentially Fairmount Park, this is objectively the most beautiful area of the city, by the way. Behind this museum, you might as well be in Rome, might as well be in Athens or something. Listen to the beauty of the birds, this nice stone bridge, the waterworks, the natural environment. But Fairmount Park over there, you would think you're in like Tuscany. Also, we have the Boathouse Row with the various boat clubs. Lots of beautiful sculptures. I love this guy up on top. Morning.
Morning, morning.
Beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
Enjoy. And we got some nice flowers, and yeah, there's something about this area that promotes human thriving. And I find that to thrive is the goal, not to merely survive, but to thrive. I love seeing my shadow casted upon the ground there. Yeah, I say follow the light, but crush the shadows. Think Caravaggio. Follow the light, crush the shadows, and create a dramatic and sublime experience, an uplifting human experience to new heights. One simple way to evoke that sort of sublime aesthetic within high contrast black and white on the Ricoh GR is to simply use the adjustment lever on the left hand side to lower your exposure compensation and photograph with this dark crushed shadow, but always follow the light.